Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So I finally grinded up enough XP to get the level 10 Black Blaze. So in this video, of course, we're going to be taking on Tsukiha's final battle, or the second battle, to unlock all the abilities for her manifest weapon. Now if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So this particular battle is one of the few manifest battles that I can think of. I want to actually say the only one that actually has a 50% HP stopper. Now, in my first battle against her, I guess the amount of HP on the boss the first time wasn't that high, so just by normal attacks, I probably bypassed the 50% stopper. I didn't use an AF at that time. Now, in this case, we have to be very aware of the 50% stopper. This actually video is not my first try. It was a number of different tries to make sure I got the timing and everything right. So it looks like Tsukiha's Black Blaze has a 5-turn rotation. So it starts off with AoE fire attack, her I guess conjugated deluge, and then it goes with the Scalding Serenade, which is 2 times XL single target that applies fire resistance debuff. And if you use regular Tsukiha, remember that is a 30% debuff. So we can assume it's the same amount of debuff on your team. So be very aware of that. You can see I'm using mana to help shield. I'm using Vigilant Lance to give us type resistance as well as int down. Now being that this is a physical attacker, it doesn't really do as much use to int down. However, the shield resistance, type resistance 30% will reduce fire attacks by 30%. And in combination with practical, you shall have some shielding as possible. The third turn was a Howling Surge, and that is obviously a 50% reduction in physical resistance, and it takes damage himself. And then you got Scalding Serenade times 2 again, and then finally, I guess it goes back to the AoE, Unburdened Embers, and then AoE. So remember that if you are doing this, there are 2 phases. Once you get below 50%, her moveset does change to a more lethal attack. So right now, she is right below the 50% mark, so we're going to use regular attacks to bring her down just to below 50, and then we're going to also use mana to rotate in Garyu, such that we have a bar activated as soon as we're ready. Now once we hit the 50% mark, she does her VC, which is fire resistance and physical resistance down for 1 turn by 25%. So this is the perfect opportunity now to do a full AF bar, and we didn't even have a full AF bar, but you know, a 3/4 one. And at this point, a few hits should be enough to defeat Black Blaze. And we're just going to do some overkill just to see how much damage we can do on the enemy. It doesn't really matter at this point. But yeah, so fire versus fire. Our fire team wins. Of course, we are outmatched and outnumbered the Black Blaze. And we beat her. Nice!
Stop flexing, Dad!
Alright. So, of course, after every manifest battle for the second time, you do get another gold badge, another 100 stones, which is very nice. I mean, any 100 stones is great. Being at the end game, we don't get much more opportunities to get stones other than the 30 stones that we get every day. 20 for the login, and 10 for pressing on that stones button where you can collect 10 free stones. Let me know in the comments below how you guys are doing with this particular manifest battle. Of course, I will be having a 5-star review of her in the next coming days, and we'll be putting up Claude's manifest battle sometime later on today as well. Now, as usual, we're going to bring up my entire team as well as their loadout. So you've probably seen some of these in the past, but this is one of my better fire teams. We are using Gilda just for kicks because he can be our backup, and if you've watched my 5-star review of Gilda, even if some of my party members die, we will probably be able to use him for a 1-hit KO and end the battle right there. Now note that I actually equipped Flare Thrust onto Mana just so she can participate in the AF bar if needed. Okay, so like most manifest battles, I tried to do it 2 different ways just to show you different methods of taking down some of the more difficult content in the game, especially if the battle is repeatable. Of course, with some battles, you can only do it once, but in this case, we can do it as many times as we want and experiment. Now, I know a lot of you have AS Yuna or AS Annabelle, should make this battle a cakewalk. That being said, you still have to be fully aware of the fact that there is, a 50% stopper, and bear in mind that once you hit the 50% stopper, I will show you in this particular section how the moveset slightly changes and becomes a little bit more difficult. So you really have to manage either your defenses or your offense and end the battle really, really quickly. So in the case, I don't have a zone setter for water, so we're just going to start with a half bar AF just to power up AS Shani in this case. Now you can see we got teal stacked on her, and with the vertex move, every little kind of lightning thing sword in the back will do one additional hit, which will help power up our AF bar. Don't forget that she also powers the crit damage of all male characters, such as Dewey. You could also bring Cyrus. We have Mighty, and he's mainly there for some magical defense. Keep in mind that when we do use Mistopheles, it boosts his int by 35%. The rest of our team does suffer from having power down 35, but he can do additional damage, and especially since he's manifested, his Nightmare Gift does a fairly decent amount of damage even without any sort of zones. So in this case, Practical will also help shield the physical attacks, while we have Aqua Wall up by using Mighty, and then we can use Dewey to do some attacks. Dewey does have a 20% int down attack, but like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you int down a physical attacker, it doesn't reduce the damage nearly as much as it would against a mage. So we have now brought the enemy down to under 50%, and you can see the moveset is going to be a little bit more lethal. She's going to use Conjugated Deluge a lot more, and being that the VC did occur at the 50% mark, that physical and fire resistance down on your entire party can make it very, very lethal. So she's going to Howling Surge on combination with that. And remember that the moveset is still a 4-turn rotation, and then it'll go back to the beginning. So you'll see a combination of either Howling Surge in one of those, Scalding Serenade, Unburdened Embers. Don't forget that's a guaranteed critical 2x L single target slash. The Scalding Serenade applies fire resistance debuff, and then the Conjugated Deluge can do over 5,000 damage to your entire team, especially if unmitigated. Remember, we don't have any type shields here except for Aqua Wall, and make sure if you are, use Mistopheles to power down her so she doesn't kill everyone with one hit. So you can see with the shielding of physical as well as the power down with Mistopheles, you can survive a lot of the hits. The Unburdened Embers only did double digit damage, 70 and 90 with the 2 hits, and we do have shielding up against the enemy. Now, even with the shield, did you not see that? That was multi-thousands damage, and we had Mistopheles up as well as multiple shields. So I really should have activated AF right there, but I hope that you guys can appreciate the fact that I let that come through, and luckily Dewey did survive, and so we're going to do a stupid small AF here just to see if we can kill the enemy before dying ourselves. So obviously with tougher boss fights, make sure you just activate the AF as soon as you can to end the boss battle. In this case, don't forget the next move in the rotation is very set, and so it only was Scalding Serenade, and we were able to survive being that we still had some physical resistance shielding up from Practical. Okay, so here's our loadout for this team of water. I know that it's not as powerful as some of your guys' water team, but with AS Shani, or if I used OG Shani, it would have been fine as well. So again, the main takeaways for this battle: make sure you have physical shielding up, power her down as much as possible, and if you have a chance to have any sort of type resistance to help protect against those fire attacks, make sure you use those as much as you can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.